Hier in Österreich haben wir 4 Millionen Hektar Wald. Das heißt, so viel, dass circa die Hälfte der Fläche Österreichs bewaldet ist. In Österreich haben wir Glück, da haben wir wirklich seit fast 200 Jahren ein sehr strenges Forstgesetz, das sagt, wir müssen nachhaltig wirtschaften und auch im Sinne der Naturverträglichkeit und Biodiversität wirtschaften. Und deswegen können wir auch sagen, dass der Großteil unserer Wälder sehr naturnahe Ökosysteme bildet. Wald braucht Biodiversität, braucht Unterschied, braucht verschiedenes Alter, weil sonst reden wir im Prinzip von einer Landwirtschaft im größeren Stil. Das Restore Plus Projekt ist ein sehr groß angelegtes Restaurationsprojekt im Bereich Wald. Unser Ziel ist es, eine Methode der Wiederaufforstung der Wälder zu finden, und zwar mit Hilfe unserer Technologien, die wir hier am IIASA entwickeln. Die Geschichte mit dem CO2 und Wald ist natürlich eine ganz besondere. Wir wissen, dass wir ein bestimmtes CO2-Budget zur Verfügung haben, um zum Beispiel die Pariser Klimaziele zu erreichen. Wenn wir diese Ziele noch erreichen wollen, müssen wir den CO2-Ausstoß drastisch reduzieren. Mein Appell wäre hier, dass wir einfach in eine Situation mit uns selbst geraten, wo wir uns mehr hinterfragen, ob jetzt dieser Schritt wirklich gescheit ist im Sinne von Umweltschutz und Klimawandel, und ganz kurz nur innehalten und drüber nachdenken, gibt es eine bessere Möglichkeit. Und ich glaube, wenn wir das erreichen, dann ist schon sehr viel erreicht. Aus meiner Sicht ist der Wald der größte Pool an Biodiversität, und das ist eine Lebensgrundlage für den Menschen. Also der ist nicht wegzudenken.
We are part of nature. We require food, we require clean water, we require fresh air, we require soils to grow our food on, and all of those things are underpinned by ecosystem processes and by biodiversity. So a lot of research has shown recently that if we continue in the business as usual, we are actually at risk of, in the future, having declining resources to support ourselves. Loss of soil, loss of fresh water, loss of climate regulation, dangerous climate change. And all of those effects in terms of having perhaps reduced food output and more variable and extreme climate events, they're going to affect the poorest people on Earth first. So it then becomes very much an equality issue as well. So if we continue business as usual, as we have done for the past several decades, we are looking at an impoverished planet, and we're undermining our future sustainability such that our grandchildren will not be able to do the same kinds of things that we're doing now. So we need to make changes now to avoid those catastrophic changes in, say, 50 years' time. So my work with IIASA focuses on tropical forest restoration. So we've seen a lot of announcements and pledges made in the last several years about wanting to restore tropical forests or restore forests globally in order to tackle climate change and also to restore biodiversity. So my research takes a critical look at restoration pledges and restoration efforts and tries to assess really whether we are going to get the expected benefits from forest restoration or whether there are any risks of unintended consequences. Most of us live in towns and cities. We don't live right next to forests or right next to natural ecosystems. So it perhaps is very easy to feel very distant from nature and to think that the natural environment doesn't affect us anymore. Being concerned about biodiversity and being concerned about environmental protection really vary and depend on who you are and where you are. But I think there's global recognition now, even at the highest levels. People like the organizations like the World Economic Forum are recognizing that damage to nature is some of the biggest risks facing our planet right now, the biggest risks to the future of our societies. The power comes when lots of people trying to do the right thing are getting together and moving towards the same thing in collective action. And then you realize actually you're part of something bigger, and that can feel very much like you're on the right side of arguments. I think a general message is that change needs to come from all of us. So it's easy to try and look for somebody else to lead the way and to make change on our behalf. So that means things like thinking carefully about who we vote for, thinking carefully about how we spend our money, or when we have money invested, which kinds of businesses we invest in. It also means perhaps making changes about our own lives. So deciding what kind of food we eat and what kind of house we live in, how far we travel, that kind of thing. And we influence businesses and business behavior by how we spend our money. So each of us needs to think about our own responsibilities and then take action in terms of voting and in terms of how we use our money in order to drive these changes. We can't wait for somebody else to do it. It has to be each of us.